very warm welcome to you. This is your Friday edition of Afternoon Express, and my name is Balisa Tembe. Now, from rock to Afro pop to, of course, b-boying, we've pretty much got it all. We're going to be kicking it all off with Francois Van Coke, obviously from Fokof Pelisicar. We also have Afro pop sensation Fireboy DML, and then we get that stellar performance by Rebel Squad Dance Crew. But to me in the kitchen, I'm saying to you, girl, finally, the weekend's here.
Finally, Ballet, and I'm also throwing it down in the kitchen today because we're making two amazing dishes. We're starting it off with some homemade kimchi and then ending it off on a sweet note with an ice cream roll. To get all the recipe details, do go to afternoonexpress.co.za, but over to you and Francois, Ballet.
We catch up with rock star Francois Van Coke as he tells us all about his new tell-all conversation series called 40 Jaar Van Coke, sharing stories about himself that has never been told publicly. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's so nice to be here.
I'm loving the fact that you're challenging my Afrikaans skills here, but you know what? I've been practicing, I've been stretching, so I'm ready.
Yeah, rather you speaking Afrikaans than me Zulu, I think.
I love it. But let's go back to the last time you were in the loft, just last year. I mean, you were speaking about your gigging, your up and down, you know, touring and travels, basically the road being your second home, and then COVID-19 hit.
Yeah, it's actually been crazy. I think the last time I was here, we were kind of getting ready for 2020, and it was this amazing planned out year. Everything was set to have a massive year, and then COVID hit in March, and obviously everything changed. So we had to adapt, I think, in the music industry especially. And, you know, we did online shows, and I think the cool thing is our fans really supported us through this time, and I think it kind of worked out. You know, I think a year later, I don't think in March last year I would have felt comfortable thinking about March 2021, but I think we're still alive and we're still kicking, we're still making music, it's all good.
It was impossible to project what a year would look like last year this time. So I'm so glad, though, that you've been able to resurface and become stronger and still create the music. But if we were to also just touch on the personal side, last time you were here, you were saying that you were struggling, finding that balance between work and home. Of course, at the time, you still had your beautiful first daughter, Alex, but now we've welcomed baby number 2, your beautiful son, Max. So just tell us all about how fathering is now the second time around, being able to stay home.
Yeah, I think that was quite a different process. You know, I was at home for my wife's whole pregnancy, which last time I kind of missed completely, you know, because I was touring, I was on the road, you know, being home maybe 2 or 3 days a week and then on the road the rest. So it was a very cool experience to experience that whole thing, and obviously spending like the first couple of months with my baby boy is really amazing. I think if shows get back to normal, you know, we'll have to find a balance again, but it's been really great spending time with the family. It's just like you always have this thing in the back of your mind, you know, life will have to get back to normal sometime. Sure. But it's been great spending time with the family. I think that's definitely the upside of this whole COVID vibe.
But now when it comes to just the candid nature that you're taking on, full on with these video podcasts and the podcast, you know, essentially tell all stories that have never been heard before. So tell us all about it. How did the story come to be that you decided, let me put all my stories on blast?
Actually, a couple of years ago, someone from a publishing house contacted me and said they are interested in putting a book out for me, an autobiography or a biography, whichever one I wanted to do, if I want to get another writer involved to work with me. And I said, yeah, well, I think I'm like lank young. I don't really know if I must put it out now. Maybe when I'm 50, you know, the life is a little bit rounded at that age. Yeah. And, but it started kind of the idea. So we started talking about the book. And I play in a band as well, Fokof Pelisicar, and there was this friend of ours, Annie Kloppers, that wrote a bioc for Fokof Pelisicar about 10 years ago. So someone that has written a book about old stories and our days on the road. I started talking to Annie about the book, and then also at the same time, someone contacted me to make a movie about my life. And I was also like, that is so weird. I don't know, like, if there's that much to tell. But all of these kind of things sparked the idea of me putting kind of my stories out in some way. And then obviously the lockdown happened, and the initial idea was just me and Annie, the writer of the Fok of Police Car book, to kind of just have online conversations, do it live and put it out so people can listen to the stupid stories I have. And it kind of just progressed to, now it's kind of like a little, almost like a docu / podcast, video cast.
Yeah.
Series.
You know, I see a lot of popularity being built when it comes to these video journals. I can almost imagine them, and I call them, you know, video journals, just being able to sit down and share your story. But how does then that help you personally as an artist, as a father, as a man, relive all the experiences? You know, I can almost imagine the nostalgia that comes with just reimagining and going through all those stories again.
Yeah, but before we actually started this, I wrote down a lot of the stories, and it's weird how those things come back, and just it takes you back. You know, if you actually sit down and try and remember what happened 10 years ago, what happened that night specifically at that festival. Yeah, it's crazy to relive those stories, and you know, we've had some crazy times on the road, and there's actually a lot of weird stories to tell.
And I'm sure that also shows you the growth that you've experienced as well as a person.
Yeah. For me, you know, I'm 40 now, 40 Jaar Van Coke.
Yeah, that's the word I couldn't say.
40. So I started playing music when I was 23 full time. Started touring at 23, and I'm completely a different person. I mean, everything has changed. I mean, I still kind of think more or less the same, but I mean, in my life, everything has changed. You know, when I was 23, I had nothing. I had like a bed in a yellow rented room with a stack of porn mags, and like, that's all I owned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it.
Now things have changed. You know, I've got a house that I like to live in. I'm married, very happily married with 2 kids. You know, that just changes your perspective completely. So, yeah, things change over time.
I love that. Do you want to share some of these stories with us? I know that this is the first time on a public television platform that you've gotten the opportunity to share some of these stories. But if you could think of maybe your top 2 or top 1 story that can make us all clutch our pearls and say, please do, so we can start listening.
I'll tell you one. You know, a lot of these stories are filled with drunken debauchery and
life of a rock star. Life of a rock star.
I'll tell you one that's kind of funny. At Opikopi, I think it was 2008, I had a massive party. It was an Easter Opikopi, so it happens on the Easter weekend. And I think I played on the Friday night, and the Saturday was kind of just a party day. So I kind of just hung out. And what's beautiful about these festivals is you see all of your friends in different bands that you don't see every day from across the country. Had a massive party, lost my shoes, and this friend of mine, I won't say his name on national TV, but his name is in the podcast. We started slapping one another in a drunken
game,
I guess, yeah. Started slapping one another, and eventually we started kissing one another. And then, in that moment, a bunch of journalists came past from a newspaper, a Sunday newspaper, and they took a photo, and they asked me, so, Francois, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're kissing this guy. And I was like, yeah, man, be a man, kiss a man. And then
that's going to be our new slogan.
I didn't think about it much, but the weekend after that was the Sama Awards. Also had a massive party at the Sama Awards. Drove back, stopped at a garage, and walked into the garage. The first thing I saw was that newspaper on the front page. It's me and this guy kissing, and it went like Sisa Van Coke Sunaman.
Wow.
And on that same morning, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, her sister went into a shop too, saw the newspaper, and she phoned my wife and called her, and she was like, Lauren, you won't believe me, Francois on the cover of the newspaper kissing. And my wife said like her stomach just sank, and she was like, kissing a man. And she was like, okay, that's fine, no problem. So there was actually these newspaper boards that said, Coke Sunaman.
Wow.
And that is the story behind it.
I love it. I mean, South Africa, clearly, all is fair in love and war.
Exactly.
From slapping to kissing. But if that is just a taste of what we can experience and what you share in your podcast, I'm sure so many people are going to be tuned in. But from the funny stories to funny games, we're going to be playing a fun game with you a little bit later on in the show. And it's a game about rock stars, keeping to the theme. So are you ready for that?
I think so. I love rock quizzes.
Okay, yeah, it's all about rock quizzes, and of course we've got that stellar performance coming up from Francois and his incredible band. So we've got so much more to look forward to.
Express yourself.
Let the games begin. Now we're having fun in the loft with Mzansi's very own rock star, Francois Van Coke. And today, we're going to be putting his rock star brain power to the test with our game, Name That Rock Star. Are you ready?
I think so.
Now we're going to be testing all of your general knowledge when it comes to 5 famous, iconic rock stars that you will definitely know.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to have 5 seconds in which to do so. I'm going to deliver a clue. And after the clue, you're going to have 5 seconds to give me the rock star that you think it is. If you guess wrong, you do not get a second point.
Cool.
We'll just simply refer to the correct answer up on the board. You ready?
Cool.
Now, our very first rock star is said to be the most famous of all time. He was still touring in 2019. And of course, he's also the front man for the Rolling Stones.
Mick Jagger.
And 5. Before I could even start the timer. Absolutely, it is Mick Jagger. Congratulations. Now, second one.
Woo, yes, 1.
If this,
1 out of 5.
If this has anything to say in terms of how you're going to go throughout the game, I am not worried for you at all.
Cool. Okay.
Now, our next rock star is a British rock star known for starring in his very own reality TV show alongside his famous children and wife.
Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, yabba, yabba, yabba. I didn't even get get to the rest of the clue. Indeed, it's Ozzy Osbourne.
I'm a big fan.
I also love Ozzy Osbourne. I used to love the show, of course, and he essentially was my introduction to rock music.
Oh, nice one.
I love it. Okay, so let's keep the ball rolling. It seems like we really do have a superstar rock star here in the loft with us. Our very next legendary rock star is known for the song Purple Haze. He is also...
Jimi Hendrix.
I got the moves, congratulations. Whoa, Mzansi, that is almost uncanny. What an incredible
I showed my
art
belly on
television.
national TV. No, my wife is gonna hate me.
Talk about bearing it all. Not only are you bearing those stories in your podcast, but also your entire body. I love that. I love that piece of art. I mean, are you huge on tattoos?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to prove it.
It's covered up now, yeah.
I love it. Okay, we're not going to make you take it off because I don't want your wife to come for me. So let's keep the game going. The next rock star was amazing, playing almost every single instrument that you could think of. He also went through a bit of a weird time where he changed his name to a symbol.
Oh, that's Prince.
Again, I did not even finish the hint. The last part of the clue was that everyone wore purple to his funeral when he died. And of course, that is the legend himself, Prince. I've got a funny story about Prince, actually. Cool jacket. Do you see me rocking that?
Definitely.
I love it. So my dad convinced me that The Prettiest Girl in the World, Prince's song, was written specifically for me the day I was born.
Oh, that's amazing.
My dad's a finesser. I'm telling you. Just spewing out lies, but I love it. It's the thought that counts.
I'm going to tell my daughter the same.
I love it. Pass it down, King. Pass it down. Now our very last one. I mean, you're almost 4 for 4. Let's see if you can make it 5 for 5, the last part of the game. President Barack Obama played one of his songs at his farewell address in Chicago. He is also truly a patriotic rock star. His nickname is The Boss.
Bruce Springsteen.
Zanzi, can I have a round
Come
of applause?
on, you guys could have given me something harder.
Congratulations. I mean, my mind is blown. I cannot believe that you're just so knowledgeable when it comes to your rock stars.
No. That was easy.
Talk about it being a game of mentorship. Okay, I'm going to put a bonus question in here.
Cool.
Let's see if he's really a man about his business. This is greatest female rock star of all time.
Janis Joplin.
No. Ooh,
Okay, that's mine. But okay, keep.
I love it. Okay, so that it does come down to opinion. So maybe let me continue,
Cool.
and then I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So number 1, you already got that. Greatest female rock star of all time. Recently performed with Harry Styles on stage at the concert, of course, 2 years ago in 2019. Has a debut out with Miley Cyrus. Known for her symbolic and poetic lyrics. Yours a difficult one. And 5, 4.
No idea, actually.
3, 2, time.
Lady Gaga.
Even though I love Lady Gaga, it's Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
I love that. You see, the bonus round we needed.
I like Stevie Nicks.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the fact that
I didn't know she sang with Harry Styles.
And the Miley Cyrus clue kind of threw me off there. But I love the fact that essentially when it comes to the 5 for 5, King, you did it. That bonus round kind of threw you off.
Sorry, girls. I apologize.
Yeah, you got a lot of explaining to do to young Alex there. But thank you again. It's been such a pleasure just playing this game with you.
Awesome.
What a sport, Mzansi. Now head over to our social media platforms. Let us know, did you get 6 for 6? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Help support your immune system for your next big adventure with Immuenza.
I'm not going to be as hard on Francois as Balisa was because I think he did pretty well. I mean, 5 out of 5. The last one was sort of like a spanner in the works, so it's okay. It's okay, Francois.
It's pretty good.
Well, then the bacteria in our gut has a significant impact on the immune system and our overall health. Eating fermented foods such as kimchi, yogurt, and sauerkraut will significantly improve the health of your gut and overall functioning of your immune system. I have dietitian Kelly Scholz in the kitchen with me today, and she'll be talking to us about fermented fermented foods and how exactly they improve our gut and the immune system. We also show you how to make a delicious homemade fermented kimchi. Now, Kelly, thank you so much for coming onto the show today. And you're going to be teaching us a little bit more about fermented foods and their benefits. Thank you so much. But I just need to ask, there has been a lot of talk about the benefits of fermented foods. And I mean, they're becoming such a hit. Why is that?
So the interest is developing now in foods that still contain the live bacteria even while they're fermenting it. So it's about eating the foods that still contain those live bacteria because they're probiotics for us. They can potentially colonize our digestive system.
Okay.
And there are health benefits linked to those probiotic bacteria.
Okay, that's perfect. So I guess that's why we're making kimchi, because kimchi is one of those foods, right?
It is, and also things like sauerkraut, which is fermented cabbage, and yogurt, and even kefir and mas, and they're beautiful foods.
And I guess I'm going to be showing you, South Africa, how to make this amazing recipe. To start it off, Kaylee, I'm going to ask you just to, in that pot, we've got some rice powder or rice flour that you've got there. You can just pop into the pot and then add some veg stock. All we're doing now is we basically just want to make that into a sauce, like a thickened, gloopy sauce. That is going to basically be added into the rest of our recipe here. For this recipe, I've got some shrimp paste. I've also got veg stock. I've got daikon. If you don't have daikon, you can use pears. Any other ingredient of that type would also work. We've got ginger, sesame seeds, fish stock, gochujang. If you don't have gochujang, red chili flakes work just as well. We've also got garlic and some spring onion. Then over here, we've got some Korean cabbage. If you don't have Korean cabbage, any normal cabbage would work. I've also got a bit of salt there and a pear that I'm also going to add a little later. To start off this process, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start quartering. In fact, I'm just going to halve it for now, my Korean cabbage. The whole idea for that is to allow me to put the seasoning or the salt into the layers of this cabbage. So what happens is initially when you start the process, you put salt onto this cabbage to basically break it down. So we've already done the first part of it. We've put the salt onto the cabbage and allowed it to sit a bit, and then we're going to rinse it again. Now this is like the last part before we go into the rest of those steps. But I mean, right now what we're doing is we're creating a fermented ingredient or fermented recipe here, but there's something called gut microbiome. I mean, what exactly is that, and how does it play a role in the digestive system?
Yeah, the bacteria that live inside our guts, and also yeasts, there's some beneficial yeasts as well. So it's all the microorganisms that colonize our guts. They live in a really nice symbiotic relationship with us, where we provide food and protection, and they help us to digest our food. So they literally take our food and digest things that we would not be able to digest ourselves. What we're talking about here is using our food to provide things and potentially colonize with some of the beneficial strains of bacteria that we know exist, and where there is research evolving at the moment in terms of those particular strains being of benefit to not only our digestive processes, but also our immune systems and even our mental health. So our gut bacteria can contribute to alleviating depression and handling stress better.
It makes a whole lot of sense what you're saying. So just to give you guys a bit of a recap, into this little paste here, I've put my gochujang, I've put in the garlic, the ginger, all of those ingredients. I've also put in the fish paste. The only thing I'm not going to put in now is the sesame seeds and the rest of the fresh ingredients, because we're going to put those in last. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly just rinse our cabbage that I've put in the salt here. So this process would take much longer. If you're going to be doing this and have time on your hands, you would probably do this over a day, because you would start it in the morning, and then once you've done that, then start doing the rest of the processes, because it needs about, I would say, about 12 hours for it to break down the actual cabbage itself. But now that we've done that and I've cut up, I've put it in the salt and so forth, we're going to start putting that delicious mixture that I've made over here. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you just to pour this mixture that you've done into this little bowl for us. And while we do that, I want to continue this conversation that we're having about our gut health. You know, how can we start introducing these foods into our diet? I mean, how is the easiest way to do that?
These foods, particularly something like kimchi and also sauerkraut, they have a delicious salty pickled taste. So we can't eat them in huge quantities because we'd be taking in too much salt. So what you could do is use a tablespoon or two just as a topping for something like a stir fry, or even into a sandwich, or some cheese and some crackers and some sauerkraut. Just a little bit every day is probably enough to get enough of the benefit from the probiotics that are there. And also, you know, something in moderation is good, but even eating healthy things in excess is not necessarily that comfortable. So if you are not used to eating these foods, they can cause a little bit of digestive discomfort if you're eating them in huge amounts. So go in moderation, add a little bit every day, maybe every other day to start with, and see if you like them. You know, it's also a taste that people need to get used to.
True, very true. And I guess that's why it's important for people to also just do as much research as they can when it comes to foods like this. But basically, South Africa, I've put on all those flavorings in there. I've made this paste, and what's going to happen is this mixture over here in our cabbage is going to sit. It can sit for as long as a week, basically. And all you do is just put it into a tub for about 2 days. Take it after about 2 days at room temperature. Then you can put it into the fridge because the fermentation process would have already been started. So now I'm going to continue making this mixture on my side here, and then we're going to put our cabbage into a little bowl and put everything else at room temperature. And then I will also add our daikon and our pear. And that's basically, that's the recipe done. Goes into the fridge after 2 days after it's been fermented enough. And that is it. You can enjoy it, like you said, as a side. You can enjoy it as a filling on a sandwich even. You could do that. I mean, it's important that we take the right steps to maintain a healthy and strong immune system. Immuenza helps support a healthy immune system, assisting in keeping you healthy and protected. Make sure to tune in on Monday when we announce the lucky winner of this week's Immuenza competition.
Help support your immune system for your next big adventure with Immuenza.
Now, Kelly, we've been talking about gut health, right? But I feel like physical health is just as important, and mental health, right?
Mental health, even more important,
even more
I might
important.
argue.
So coming up, we get a special performance by Francois Van Coke.
We are back with all of the music that we promised at the top of the show. Now, Francois, before we get into that rock star mentality, you know, kind of bobbing our heads this Friday, I want to find out from you, what special do you have up your sleeve for all of your fans?
Tomorrow night, on the 6th, we've got a show live stream, so anyone in the world can watch it, not just South Africa. So tell your friends. It's me and my band, Die Gevaar. This is half of them, Richard and Jed. And yeah, it's the first time since the lockdown that we're doing a Francois Van Coke and Die Gevaar live stream show. So
Very exciting.
should be very special.
And that's not the only first that we have. What you're about to perform, first time performing it on television?
First time performing it.
Period.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the first time we're playing the song. It's called Die Begin van die Einde. Means the beginning of the end.
Oh, well, then take it away, gentlemen.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ons is robotte in gesuig onnodig. Ons sien die algoritme ontbyt oorbodig. Ons is saam maar alleen, afgesluit in routine. Ons is die padpuiste, ons is reaksie sonder aksie. Ons is plastiek, ons is die vulliswoord. Ons is die begin van die einde. Ons is die begin van die einde. Die gebreekte hart wat beter word. Ons is slavernij, vastgepind besete. Ons is globale verwarming en ons is vergeten. Ons is die mark van die dier. Ons is skepties, die sage, legende, mythe. Ons is samenswere, ons botseer en ons val oor ons regeer. Ons is die begin van die einde. Ons is die begin van die einde. Die gebreekte hart wat moet beter word. Ons is die begin van die einde. Ons is die begin van die einde. Die gebreekte hart wat moet beter word. Ons gebreekte hart, ons moet beter word. Take it away, Jedi! Ons is die begin van die einde. Ons is die begin van die einde. Die gebreekte hart wat moet beter word. Ons is die begin van die einde. Ons is die begin van die einde. Die gebreekte hart wat moet beter word. Ons gebreekte hart, ons moet beter word. Ons gebreekte hart, ons moet beter word. Ons is die gat waarin het als verdwijn. Die virus wat donkerte versprei. Ons is die pijn, die droogte, die hongersnood. Die gebreekte hart wat moet beter word.
That is just how we get down on Afternoon Express. I mean, the very first time the song has ever been performed. And I must tell you, gentlemen, a truly stellar job. Sidlala ngama exclusives here on Afternoon Express only. So let us know on social media, are you feeling our rock star anthem today? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments.
Express yourself.
One of the hottest music sensations to come out of the great country of Nigeria, Fireboy DML is true to his name, and his fires are scorching all across the globe. He joins us now via Zoom, but let's first take a look at a music video, Vibrations.
I see what you do. You put your body into it. I love the way you move it, oh. I can feel the vibration of your body moving. You put your body into it. I can see what you're doing, oh. Babe, carry me, they go.
Hey, Fireboy, welcome to The Loft.
On time. Thank you so much for having me, guys. How you guys doing?
Now, we're good, we're excited. It's all about the music today in The Loft. But listen, I want to take you through a little bit of a timeline of all of your music. I mean, your debut album, Laughter, Tears, and Goosebumps, was released in 2019, and just 9 months later, you released your second album, Apollo, in 2020. Now, it's March 2021, and they're still both doing very well, and I mean, gaining that momentum globally. So why do you think that the success of these two albums is still lingering?
Thank you so much for the kind words. I released Laughter, Tears, and Goosebumps in 2019, and 9 months later I released my sophomore album, Apollo. Actually, it was just something that I don't like to do conventional stuff. I like to do the unconventional. I like to do the unprecedented. So it was a thing of joy when the team told me I'd have to drop another project, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm mentally ready for this stuff. Let's do it, you know. And I think both are doing successfully well because they are both intertwined and they both represent my growth as an artist and as a person. So LTG was just that young boy, the dreamy music, and Apollo shows growth from boy to man. You know, and that growth as an artist is what, you know, makes both albums really special. You know, and you know, as Apollo is doing great, most people are finding out about my music from Apollo. And they end up going back to my debut.
Definitely skyrocketing here. I'm very impressed with you. So what was it all about? What is it about your music, rather, that keeps you so determined and so sure of yourself?
Music has always been an escape for me. You know, when I feel in some type of way, I just, you know, go to the studio and make some music. You know, making music, when I'm in the studio is the only time I really feel fulfilled and, you know, filled with purpose, you know. So I like to be in that, you know, mind frame. So, and I know that my music really helps a lot of people. People treasure my music so much. They find my music pleasing. They find it more than pleasing. They find it, you know, soothing. It helps them. I get messages like, oh, your music saved my life. This song of yours saved my life, you know. Things like that keep me going.
You are one out of only 3 African artists to be named YouTube's Black Voices Class of 2021. Now, what does this immense honor mean to you?
When I heard the news, it was really amazing for me because it's a huge honor, you know, to be named one of the representatives of Black Voices in Africa. And as a matter of fact, the only Nigerian on the program. I see myself representing the youth, the new generation. It's a huge honor for me. I see myself as being part of the cause to actually push Afrobeats from my own perspective, you know, to the world. Every other Black artist on the platform, you know, representing their culture, representing their sound, their image, their countries, and whatnot. And I'm just here representing Africa, representing Nigeria, representing Afrobeats.
But Fireboy, something that's huge for us is that you're not only strong and sure of yourself as a musician, but you're also an art director and style coordinator of all of your visual material in your music videos. Please may you just tell us about your creative and artistic side when it comes to these music videos.
Apart from making music, I love to express myself so much in fashion, art, painting, you know, basically my music videos. I like to have, you know, I have the kind of team that, you know, lets me have that creative freedom when it comes to my art, and I'm really grateful for that. I don't really talk much. I don't really roll around with people or go out. Whenever I get the chance, you know, making videos, making music, I like to be very expressive. My personality is really laid back, so I like to express myself through my art. And you know, I'm African. We love colors. We love colorful moments. We love so much energy. So I'm just really portraying that African value.
And you are now very quickly becoming a global phenomenon. I mean, you were recently performing on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. I mean, tell us about that amazing experience.
That was the moment for me because I grew up, artistically grew up watching, the legends and my big brothers and big sisters performing on these shows. Big ups to the big brothers and big sisters that, continue to pave the way for us. It's such a thing of honor that, barely 3 years into my career, I already have such a platform to perform at. And it's part of what I've been saying. It means that we're doing something right. This is a generation. We're pushing Afrobeats to that global stage. And when things like this happen, it just means that what you're doing is not in vain. Big ups to my team, big ups to the fans that keep felicitating this stuff. It's a big one for Africa, a big one for the industry as a whole.
And this is a big one for us here on Afternoon Express, having you in the loft. It's always just such a pleasure touching base with our brothers and sisters of the African continent, making waves globally. Goodbye, Fireboy.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Kubonge thina, as we would say in Durban. Well, not only is Fireboy DML taking on Africa, but the world better be ready, because his phenomenal and groundbreaking talents will be soon on the entire world's lips.
Made with love by Clover.
Now, from a fire conversation to a fire recipe, give your dinner a refreshing finale with an extra special treat from your freezer. Our Clover Bliss ice cream roll combines the best of both worlds of cake and ice cream. And to top it off, an indulgent garnish of Clover Bliss chocolate medium dairy dessert, because it's a dream with ice cream. Now, if you know me, you know that I have a sweet tooth, right? So today, I'm basically combining the best of both worlds by making a beautifully decadent cake and then mixing it with some ice cream. So to start it all off, we're going to make the base of our cake. That starts with the dry ingredients, which I've got over here. We've got some flour, we've got some cocoa powder, and we've got some salt. As you always know, with the dry ingredients, it always is best to mix them separately and then add them into your liquid ingredients. And for the liquid ingredients, what we've got over here is we've got some egg yolks. What we've done is we've separated our egg yolks and our egg whites because we want to get a nice fluffy sponge. So we're going to add the egg whites in a bit later. Into the sugar, we're going into the eggs, we're going in with some sugar and then a little bit of vanilla essence. So all we do now is we're going to use a whole lot of elbow grease to mix this together, because what we're trying to do is you don't want the sugar to burn the egg yolk, so you want to make sure that you start whisking as soon as you add that sugar into the eggs. So all we basically want here is we want to be able to create an figure 8 in this mixture that we're making here, so that it basically means that it's been whisked up perfectly, and then we can add the rest of our ingredients. So once it starts getting pale, as you can see, obviously the nice yellow color from the egg yolks starts to get a little bit more pale now. That means that we're doing the right thing. So basically what we do now is I've added all the ingredients into this pot, and because we want a nice fluffy sponge, all I'm going to do is I'm going to add half of my egg whites into this mixture, because as much as we want the volume, we also still want the stability in this cake. So once we've done that, I'm just going to work the egg whites into the egg yolks. You don't want to basically take those bubbles in the egg whites out. You want to make sure that it still maintains some of that egg white in there. So don't mix it up too much. It's fine if you still see some of those air bubbles. It's perfectly fine. And into this mixture, before I add the remaining egg whites, I'm going to go in with our dry ingredients. So all we do here is we add everything, the flour, the cocoa powder, and the salt that I mentioned earlier, and make sure to fold it in. Do not whisk. Try to make sure, avoid the temptation to whisk, because the whole idea is you want to maintain those air bubbles into this mixture. While we're adding there, you can see that it's getting a little bit on the dry end. Now you can start adding the remainder of the egg whites that you have into this mixture. And there we go. Just continue folding it in. Where you can just work it in with your spatula. The whole idea is basically just to make sure that it's fully worked in. And then the other thing I'm going to do here is, because of the chocolatey indulgence of this, we're going to add our Clover Bliss into this mixture as well. Yes, our Clover Bliss goes on top, but you can never have too much chocolate. I mean, I can never complain if there's too much chocolate in a dessert. So you basically just keep whisking this, or rather folding this in together, and making sure you've got that beautiful sponge mixture that we've got here. And then this is basically going to go into our already prepped tray. that's been lined with some parchment paper, and this is going to bake at 180 degrees for about 20 minutes. Start it off at 15, and if you see that it's still a bit wobbly on the center, then go in for another 2 minutes. Just keep monitoring it. Just try not to open your oven as you do this, because all you want to do is just see if it's fully baked or not. And that's it. Our cake, don't worry about it being in the center. It's going to spread out throughout the cooking process. Put it in the oven, then let it bake to your desired, basically until it's fully cooked. And this is what you're going to have at the end. Basically what happened is I took it out of the oven while it was still warm, about 2 minutes after I'd taken it out of the oven, rolled it up in some paper towel and kitchen towel, and basically formed this. So you want to do it as soon as it comes out of the oven, when it's still easy to basically maneuver and still pliable. And then into this is where our ice cream goes, because remember I promised you an ice cream roll? So this is where our ice cream goes in. We're going to be using our Country Fresh, because if you do go and get it in store now, there is a combo. So it is somewhat of a giveaway that they're giving you. So you get some of your Country Fresh ice cream, and that goes into the center. And because you know that with our Clover Bliss medium dairy dessert, because of its decadence and its beautiful texture, you can add it inside of your ice cream roll, or you can even add it at the top. So this will need to go into the freezer again to set, but once it has set, basically all you will then do is drizzle more, and I mean more, of your decadent ice cream chocolate dessert on there, and then finish it off with some nicely grated chocolate bits. I've grated mine. You can basically, if you want to, you can even just get some cuttings of the chocolate. It's completely up to you, and that's basically it. This can be eaten immediately. I would suggest freeze the sponge on the cake first. Once it comes out, garnish it, eat it immediately, and that's basically it. That's your dessert, South Africa. And I call this double the indulgence. To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za, and in case you missed it, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
What a way to kick off our Friday with some desserts. Domi, come on in, girl. You know I want a sweet treat.
You know, girl, I know when on your sweet tooth, it's a debate that we have, but I'm slowly getting you onto this sweet tooth train.
I know, it is a debate. But you've been doing such an incredible job, Domi, and you've also made it so easy for us to make this at home, essentially.
That's the whole idea, Palisa, to make sure that people don't have to think to themselves, do I always have to get these recipes and go get them at the shops? No. Use your time at home to enjoy these things at home. That's why we are putting them on Afternoon Express for you. AfternooonExpress.co.za.
And I just had my very first bite, Domi. Congratulations. I mean, yeah, okay, it is sweet. I will get that out the way. But I love it, you know, after having a delicious meal. This is something nice to end off the day with.
I repeat, sweet tooth gang, this is number one. You definitely need to get your hands on this one.
Today, throughout the show, we've been wanting to find out from our viewers. We want them to fill in the blanks. No musician will ever be as good as blank. What would you say?
Michael Jackson?
Okay, round of applause. I give that. My bet has to be Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce is just right up there. So I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of them. But as we are speaking about music, we've got a performance, Domi. We've got the rock star.
Check.
Afro pop.
Check.
Okay, so now it's time for some b-boy action.
Okay, let's get it now.
Coming up.
Made with love by Clover.
Express yourself.
Mzansi, and now we're in for a real treat. The Rebel Squad dance crew has just reformed after no performances due to COVID-19 and the nationwide lockdown. And of course, Afternoon Express has them in studio to celebrate them joining together again. Gentlemen, take it away.
Area, in the area, area, in the area. La bantwana batudlala Kostatic, la bantwana batudlala Umapore, la bantwana batudlala Rikiri. Area, in the area, area, in the area.
Dala Kostatic, Dala Maporisi, Dala Rikiri,
If your life is going hard, your numbers is going harder. Murder every feature, I did it like Dwayne Carter. Niggas trying to kill me, don't turn me into a martyr. If they get me, it's fine, just bury me in some Prada. Louis bag, Louis bag, Louis bag. Party they ballin', but clearly they cannot do it yet. Give me a shorty, I'll show you just what to do with that. Give her that Louis bag, Louis bag, Louis bag. CP weight, nasty space, pussy case, skinny waist. I embrace, I need ass on my face. Let me taste, how my lace hit the race. I replace, never chase. Hypo, Lomtana uti jala liki liki. Ang mazimin figure no Uncle Vini. Esh, batu papa no major league.
La bantwana batudlala Kostatic, la bantwana batudlala Umapore, la bantwana batudlala Rikiri, Tikezi, Halagash, area, in the area, Halagash, area, in the area.
Dala Kostatic, Dala Maporisi, Dala Rikiri, Dala TKZ, Dala Kostatic.
That is what I call Friday entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just a real way to get that weekend mood going. Gentlemen, come on over. Come on, come on, come on. I know you gentlemen must be huffing and puffing. So on that note, let me call and do me with some refreshments, you know, just to cleanse that palate here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what a fire performance you gentlemen just gave us. All those flips and jumps and bends. Congratulations. I mean, it must have been tough not being able to move during lockdown.
Yeah, no, it restricted us quite a bit. You know, so we really had to focus and think about where we could practice at home for starters. So sometimes space is a bit of an issue. So you might be able to train as an individual, but when it comes to crew performance, you know, it's a bit tough. So we're still training and we're trying to figure it out.
Step by step. It seems like everyone, Dumi, in different kinds of industries are figuring it out.
Yeah, like I also want to find out how is fitness important, like in this journey of yours? Because I'd like to think you guys had to also try and stay fit during this whole time, right?
Correct.
Oh, without a doubt. And you know, the fitness, it's broken up into various factors. So it's not just the physical training, but it's the overall lifestyle with regards to your nutrition and the amount of rest you get. So it's very intricate, and this dance style that we do, it's very demanding on the body. So our lifestyles really have to be disciplined, and that's probably one of the best characteristics that we've learned from this craft.
Being disciplined. Well, it seems like from rock and roll with Francois, of course we've got that R&B type of hip hop, Afro pop with Fireboy DML, and then of course we've got the B-boy spirit here with Rebel Dance Crew. It just seems like discipline is everything.
I feel like they're keeping the spirit of break dancing alive, because that's one of the few dance moves right now that people aren't into.
Yeah,
no, correct.
It's so difficult, yeah.
Yeah, so here's to bringing back B-boy style.
Yeah,
100%.
I love it.
100%.
I can't wait to see what you guys have up your sleeve when it comes to 2021. I mean, from all the music and the dancing, we ushering in the weekend in absolute style. Thank you so much, Mzansi, for stopping by Afternoon Express, as you always do every single day. And we will be back on Monday, of course, with that very same magic. So please do keep it locked on SABC3. But from us here on Afternoon Express, we're saying good night, stay safe, and happy eating. Goodbye. Make the most of glorious summer with your picnic favorites. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.